Hi everybody, slightly different video today. Hopefully you won't get too motion sick watching this, because it's going to be one of those where I'm sort of giving you a look round. I mentioned to you all before that when I moved here, this house in Cornwall, we've got a downstairs bit that I was going to use as a room, but we hadn't got it set up because there was an issue with damp. But since we've had the windows open and the heating on and that kind of thing, it's not actually resolved, but it's a lot better, and it's actually usable. So in fact, we've got more of a problem upstairs where we live, in the main living area, than we do down here now. So the work we were going to do to this has been put back to these rooms downstairs, been put back a bit because we've got other priorities now. And so it could be a year before we sort of get on to what needs doing down here. So we thought we might as well just get my stuff set up and start using it. So this is my room. Still a bit of work in progress, got some bits to sort out, but it's 80% of the way there. Thought I'd show you anyway. So yeah, it's downstairs. It's like an old cottage, very low ceilinged, awful light actually, terrible lighting down here. But with my table lamp I'm alright for painting. So yeah, here are masses of paints, ridiculous amount of paints really. But you always find you still don't have like quite the colours you want. And I've even got a tub of more paints stashed away in the understairs storage a bit. So yeah, there's paints. These are just full of books and stuff. A few bits and bobs for hobby, but mostly like books, as you can see along there. And like all collectors and hoarders, they're too deep as well. Not just one lot of books there, there's more behind when I can find it. There you go. Which is the same for everything. All these bookshelves are all too deep. In here I actually got some games. Where's my PlayStation game? I've got my old console set up down here, PlayStation 3 and Xbox, but down here I've got some of my board games. I love sports board games, and Avalon Hill were the first games I got into before I got into gaming and role playing. It was Avalon Hill. In fact, there, Gladiator is one of my first games. But yeah, I love sports games, sports-based board games. So got a few there. That end one there, or these end two, that's American football, that's British football. It's a great game, that. It's by an American company, but they only supply teams for pretty much the English Premier, but still good. Yep, so there's the games, some of them. Anyway, there's loads more in the garage. Down here we've got my Judge Dredd collection. Well, Judge Dredd hardback collection. As you can see, it was like a part work thing, but each volume, it makes up one long picture. That's like a lineup basically of Judge Dredd's friends and foes. Obviously I don't have the space to display it all in one row because there's 90 volumes, but yeah, it's all his, like, a lot of his friends and foes there. Goes on into the next cupboard. And rather annoyingly, I've got two I can't find. I know I've got them because I've got the whole series, but I seem to be missing 86 and 90. But yeah, as you can see, so that's one of my prized collections. I mean, I've got all the stuff in the actual original 2000 AD comics. There's the 2000 AD collection, which I started actually, but I had to stop because I moved here and didn't have any job or income, so I had to cancel it. But I'm hoping to start that one up again. But yeah, yeah, despite I've got all the stuff in comic form, I absolutely love this collection because it's just makes all the best stories like easily accessible for just fancy reading one. Just pick some of those out. And up here, one bookcase. This bookcase here is like work in progress. It's all stuff still sorting through. This one is pretty much done. At the front there, some of my favourite superhero animated series. Batman Beyond, absolutely fantastic, and Superman Justice League stuff was brilliant. They're from, I think they're from the 2010s at some point, maybe late 2000, I can't remember, but they're brilliant. 90s Spider-Man TV series, that was fantastic. Behind there, a load of my Patrick O'Brian, and again, annoyingly, I've got the whole series, but there's 2 volumes missing somewhere. Must be in the garage somewhere. There we've got my Wars of the Roses stuff and English Civil War. Two of my favourite subjects. Oh, nearly dropped those. And down here, World War II stuff. Yeah, like C. Max Hastings, Anthony Beevor, James Holland. Some of the sort of more popular World War II writers. And then behind here we've got more stuff. There's stuff at the back there is like desert warfare, the desert war stuff, and then down this end it's like modern warfare. Fiction, Sven Hassel books, love them. What I've got behind them. Fantasy and stuff behind those. Yeah. And classic James Herbert. I did have all of his stuff, but I can't find them now, so I'm going to have to start hunting about and replace that collection, because he's best horror author, I think. I loved his stuff. I mean, he died a few years ago. He's a great writer, he was. More games, role-playing stuff there. That's a game I really like called Mutant Epoch. Quite old, it's fairly new, but it's quite old school the way it's done. Then some old Buck Rogers TSR role-playing games, Car Wars. Brilliant Judge Dredd board game from the 80s. When Games Workshop used to be more than just miniatures. And they did the original sort of Judge Dredd role-playing game, which I mean, the system's probably a bit naff now, I don't know, but background on it was brilliant. The way you designed city blocks and sectors of cities was really good. The companion, that was a supplement, like an adventure, Slaughter Margin, and there's another one in there actually called Judgment Day. And these are sort of map tile things. And then down here, Conan role-playing stuff. Obviously, anyone who's knows me or was listening to my videos knows that I'm a massive Conan fan. This stuff here is what Mongoose did, and they used the D20 system, which was like a variation of the old Dungeons and Dragons, which is alright, but it's a bit limited, I think. But Modiphius have now been doing their releasing Conan. All this has come from Kickstarter, so they're still gradually coming through. And then there's another Kickstarter role-playing game, 7th Sea, which was that's a really good game. It's a fantasy sort of version of like the 1700s basically. Good, really good. And then down here, this is like a mishmash of stuff. I'm still sorting. Champions. My probably favourite ever role-playing game, Champions. Absolutely loved it. That's the 4th edition. This is like the 6th edition, because they went from Champions and changed it to Hero System, because the Champion system you could use for anything, but they decided to play on that a bit more in later editions. So you got like the Hero System, and then you'd get like a Champions book that would have all the rules in it, and this would have the superhero stuff in it. Same with fantasy. Yeah, and then just a few collections of graphic novels there. absolute classic, Camelot 3000, Brian Bolland. Yeah, so that's a bit of a jumble. One of my favourite comics ever, Alpha Flight. Absolutely love that. That was from the 80s. John Byrne used to draw and write it. It was he was Canadian, so he came up with this Alpha Flight, which was a Canadian super team, and it was totally different to anything else around at the time. A lot of it was like tied in with the sort of Inuit myths and legends. It had a really good feel about it. So it was totally different to any other superhero stuff. And yeah, I absolutely love it. I've got doubles of this. I just love the series so much. I've bought multiple copies of it. And this one here, probably one of the comics I've read more than any other. Number 12. It was absolutely fantastic, and a sort of shock ending, where the team leader, Guardian, actually got killed off. It was, yeah, brilliant. Fantastic series. I'm going to start reading that again soon, actually. Yeah, so that's a bit of a jumble of stuff. Some more games there. Like American football, there's a First and Goal. It's not based on real teams though, like the other games you saw a few minutes ago. This is like sort of made up fantasy teams. Flat Top, Wooden Chips and Iron Men, a couple of Out on the Hill games there. There is the Anti-Monitor from one of my favourite comic series, which is reprinted in this, Crisis on Infinite Earths. I'll just get that. No, I can't. No, it's too much hassle. Actually, I've got another version of it here. There we are, Crisis on Infinite Earths. One of my favourite comics ever. It was a 12-part series that DC came out with, and it kind of rewrote their universe and their history, and modernised it. But that was in the 80s. But absolutely fantastic. And he was the main villain of it, and they are HeroClix figures. When I can get some batteries in, he actually lights up, but haven't put any in yet. Anyway, so that's the room generally, and now specifically, that's my, I'll go back here actually, of my table. It's one of those craft tables. Not sure how long it is, but Mick, MGH, his channel, he used some of these, I think, for his, to put his game boards on. But my wife uses them for actual craft fairs and stuff, but she got a spare one, so I'm using it now. As you can see, got my monitor, PS3. Under here we've got proper old style setup, all bloody wires and cables everywhere, but it's my amp, Xbox 360 amp, CD player. Yeah, some of us still listen to CDs, and more shockingly, some of us even still play vinyl. So that's my entertainment down here anyway. And then, yeah, here's my table, or my painting area. I'm keeping half and half, but haven't actually done much lately. Just move this chair. I'm currently going through my Wars of the Roses 28mm stuff, taking them off their plastic bases like this, and putting them on square plastic, actually, by the way, and then putting them on metal washers. So that's where I'm at the moment, hobby wise. Fortunately, these are almost done painted wise, really. It's just going to be sorting out the bases. Yeah, so I've not actually done much apart from faffing around with these and doing this room. I've had stuff to do in the garden because we're getting a new fence put up, so I've been having to clear stuff outside, so not had much hobby time at all this week. Casualty there. Dropped him, didn't realise, and trod on it, so I'm going to see if I can salvage it somehow. But yeah, that's my table then. Hoping to do a bit today, actually. I bought some stuff in that Warlord sale, and I've got the British Airborne and Commando sprues that I'm going to try and cobble together a British Airborne engineer team out of, so might have a go at putting some of those together today. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Oh, and actually games that we like, you know, like miniatures games. For the moment I've just stashed them in here, but got a few in here. Land 3, Dead Man's Hand, supplements for it. English Civil War scenario book. I've got an English Civil War rules and I can't find them anywhere. I think it's called To Defy a King, really good ones, but can't find them. These are just like for use with any rule system, but yeah, good those. Waking the Storm, which is a fantasy warfare set. Muskets and Tomahawks, Sword and Spear Fantasy. I've got the historical somewhere. Sharp Practice, Chain Command, Sword and Flame, with supplements there. There's like Foreign Legion one in there, and Sword in Africa and stuff. PK, never actually tried that yet. Or to say, to be fair, I haven't tried any of them, but I haven't actually started putting together a force for that. Not really looked at how it's done. I think it's like multi-base figures. And then some mags, 2000 ADs, Viz, classic, hilarious art. I'm in tears when I start reading that. Wargame mags. So, a couple more games up here. Gangster ones, which are another favourite of mine. There's Mad Dogs with Guns, and that's the old version of it. But yeah, Osprey sort of did a fancy print version of it. And then Chicago Way, which is Great Escape Games. Yeah, that's something I really want to get back into. I started doing loads of stuff with that. In fact, under here, I can get this off one-handed. Sorry about this, it's all over the bloody place. Must be driving you all mental. But yeah, in here are loads of, so I can reach them. I will get this one out somehow. There you go, Days Gone cars. Bought loads of these because I got them cheap, and yeah, got all, they're obviously all 20s, 30s, 40s style stuff, so they're perfect for sort of gangster games. So I've got dozens and dozens of these. Naturally bought more than I'll ever need, but sort of got a bit obsessed about buying them, started collecting them a bit. Yeah, so that's that. Try and keep it still for a bit. So yeah, that's where I'm at. My room just about set up. Just got to sort that bookcase out. Yeah, and then we've got a nice area for painting. Got plenty of room rather than just the corner of a dining table. So yeah, like I say, sorry about the swirling about and moving around all the time, but it's the only way of showing it. So yeah, next video hopefully you'll see some sort of progress in hobby stuff. But until then, thanks to everybody subscribing and watching, commenting, and take care everybody. See ya.